Hi guys, Shishir here. Welcome to this new module. The name of this module is the need of the identity. So far we have got through the understanding of Windows client PCs, network, Windows server operating system, subsystem, etc. This module onwards we want to take a deep dive into users or identity and the need of them and how they came into being. So here is what we are going to cover in this module. The starting of a business. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to narrate you a story of how a business comes into play and how the IT requirements changes for a business and how gradually they adapt to new the IT setups. So we are going to talk about the starting of a business. We are going to talk about the user profiles. User profiles are the profile settings folder which gets created on a user's computer. We are going to talk about it. Then we are going to talk about multiple users and the need of the collaboration between these users. Then we are going to talk about the security challenges, and then we are going to talk about the introduction to Active Directory. Starting off a business. So a business named Contoso started, and it was a call center which was looking to provide services to multiple clients. In the beginning, there were no clients. There was just one employee, the owner, and his wife Rita. They got their first PC, a workstation from Lenovo. They installed all standard applications like Office Suite, Adobe, etc., and configured it to their requirement. They didn't put a password, basically configured it to boot at automatically login at boot. It was going well. They were trying to do the initial business development work, etc. Sam and Rita used to take turns to use the PC, and it was manageable because when one used to be out for work, the other person used to use the PC. But Rita didn't like Sam's Lamborghini wallpaper. She preferred some soothing waterfall photo. Also, she preferred her taskbar to be vertical, and they were using the same Outlook client. Sam didn't want to see Rita's email when he launched it. Also, their documents were getting messed up because both used to save files on the documents and desktop folder, and it was shared. They consulted an IT support company which suggested to them that they should create two separate user accounts on the PC, named Sam and Rita. They helped them create the local user accounts on the PC. So this is how you create the local user account on the PC. Once again, on my computer, I will show you here. So what they suggested was that you go to lusrmgr.msc and you go to users and you create, Sam is already there, so you basically go ahead and create a user for Rita and you say Rita's password, whatever you want it to be. Okay, so this is how they suggested them to create two user accounts. Now when they try to log into this computer, they see multiple user accounts and they can just click on their user account and they can log in. So the solution was to create the two user accounts on the same PC, which creates two separate user profiles on each PC containing its own personalizations like wallpaper, taskbar, shortcuts, etc., own folders like desktop, documents, pictures, etc., an application profile like Outlook configuration and other application personalization configuration. So the magic happened with user profile. So we need to understand that what is a user and a user profile. User profiles. A user profile is a visual display of personal data associated with a specific user or a customized desktop environment. For us, it's more like a customized desktop environment. A profile refers therefore to an explicit digital representation of person's identity. A user profile can also be considered as a computer representation of a user model. This is what a user profile, or this is how the user profiles are stored, and these are the various folders inside the user profile. Okay, I'll quickly go on this computer and show you a user profiles folder. So whenever the user logs in into the computer for the first time, you remember I just created Rita's user. So Sam user has also not logged into this computer. Let me see if I can log in with another user, but I will have to make Sam or Rita admin on this computer. Let me go back there. So I'm making them part of the administrators group so that they can become admin. So on the computer, it's not necessary, but if we want to log in as them and then look at their settings, then it might be necessary. Okay, so Sam and Rita, and let's see if I can log in as one of them. Okay, it's not giving me option to log in from here as them. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go to my remote desktop thing and I will edit this. I will copy the IP address, and so technically now what I'm going to do is like remote desktop services, terminal services. So I'm going to log into the same computer with two user accounts. Okay. Going in as Rita. Did you notice that it said that preparing user profile? It was for a brief moment. All right. Now it show you. Just want to show you the terminal services side of things. So earlier I showed you there was one user. Now there are two users logged into this computer together. Let's go into the user profile folder. So C drive / users. So this is the user profile folder. The Azure user is the default user which I created, and now Rita I logged in. Now you can see that there is a desktop folder for Rita, and whatever I put in this folder, this will show up in Rita's desktop. And okay, so I'll quickly show you here that I create a folder. You can see that that desktop is already, the folder is already showing on the desktop. So this is a desktop folder for Rita. Then these are the documents, which is the Rita's My Documents folder. And these are the favorites for Rita Internet Explorer. Then this is the music library, this is the picture, and you cannot see certain folders inside the user profile. And once again, I'm going into folder properties and no, not from here, view options, folder properties. And guys, this is you should really remember these options to go into folder properties. They really come handy when you want to troubleshoot. So show hidden files and folders, hide empty drives, hide extension of the known, hide protected operating system files. So you basically say this, and voila, there are so many other folders which are there. And these are really important folders. App data is the folder which stores your a lot of information like your Outlook configurations, your other application configurations, and you can go here and you can see there are various, and as you install more and more applications on this computer, the number of folders in here is going to increase. So this is what we mean by a profile of a user. Ultimately, profile of a user is this folder which has all her settings and configurations. And when you log in with a particular user account, the configuration gets loaded from this folder. And so when Sam logs in with his account, he gets his folder, and when Rita logs in with her account, she gets her folders. This is what a user profile means. Okay, so explained you what is a user profile. So that's how they did it. So their challenges were that they wanted to have their own wallpaper. Their challenges were that they wanted to have their own settings of the taskbar, and they didn't want to see each other's email. They wanted to have their own Outlook configurations. So by creating two separate folders, you were able to have two separate profiles, and all their configurations got stored in their individual profile. That's what a user profile is. And in a lot of troubleshooting situations, when you are facing a problem with an application or with a user unable to launch an application or trying to do something in an application, it is a very valid step to log in with another user account and try on the same computer and try to see if you can do or take that action from this another user account, because the problem could be inside that user profile. The app data of that profile may have an incorrect configuration in it, and that's why the application is failing. So by logging in by another user, you can make sure that if the issue doesn't persist on that other user, what you can do is that you can create a brand new profile for this other user, the problem user, and then you can hope that all the configurations will be rebuilt and the problem might go away. So now we are talking about the next phases of the business. The business grew further. So with user profiles, Sam's and Rita's primary IT issues got started, and they went ahead and expanded their business. Pretty soon they got enough clients and they hired 10 employees to serve these customers. They ordered 10 or more computers for their employees. And this time they began with personalizations with the get-go. All 10 computers had individual password protected user accounts created for employees. Everyone got their profile personalized, wallpaper, shortcut, taskbar, etc., configuration of Outlook, etc., and set their preferences. So they went ahead, bought 10 computers, set up 10 user accounts on these computers, and set up all the profile specifications for the user, and everything was good. Happy days, business was going very well. Clients were very impressed with the services and were seeing the results. They started asking for 24 cross 7 support and services. Sam and Rita were overwhelmed. They decided to start running shift in the organization. They hired 10 more people. Because they had learned in the past that they can create multiple user or user profile on a single PC, they used this learning, and instead of buying new PC, they decided that they will create two user account per computer. And this way, two people can use this computer in different shifts. But people were coming in three different shifts. It used to happen that when the computer where Ravi profile is configured is not free yet, because John was still wrapping up his last call, there are two other free computers, but Ravi can't use them because his profile is on that computer. It was chaotic. But they managed it somehow. And they did wanted to find a solution. Then there came up another need for collaboration. They soon realized that people were working in silos. Everyone is creating similar documents individually. They are not able to utilize others person's work to build their work upon, because people have all their files saved on their local PC. No one can access other person's computer. They once again consulted the IT company, who suggested them to install a centralized file server which everyone can access, and they can save files on common repository accessible by all. A file server was installed in the office. Required folders were created on the server, and everyone was given access to everything. I already discussed what is a file server. It's just a server on which you create certain shares, and people can access these folders from their computer via a map drive. So they set up a common file server, and all these computers were accessing the map drives, accessing the data on this file server via the map drives, and they were able to save their data. This way, people were able to collaborate the data between themselves. But this presented another security challenge. Collaboration was booming and the productivity was increasing. But now Contoso started to face another challenge, and that challenge was that people tampering and deleting each other's data. And even the management data which was on those servers was accessible to everyone. This was problematic and chaotic. So all the file servers had all the data on them, and everybody was able to see the data and access the data. This was a huge security challenge. They didn't have any control on who can have a look at the data or who can control this data, or how can they prevent from people from to be able to delete other people's data. And this was becoming very chaotic. Even the management data was accessible to the employees. The IT company was called again, and they suggested to implement security this time. They suggested creating a better folder structure, giving just enough access to users to do their job. But the problem was all the users were created on local PCs, and all the folders and data was on file server. File server isn't aware of any user account because the users are on local PC and the file server is a different PC, a different server. It doesn't know what user exists on the local PC. Only if there was a solution where all the users can be created on a centralized place, and the file servers and the end user computer can access the user information from there. All computers knows all user accounts from a central identity server, and a user can log into any one of the computer without the need of creating a local user account on that PC. Remember, I spoke about a challenge which Ravi was facing, that despite of the fact that his PC was available. Yeah, despite of the fact that John was still wrapping up his last call on the computer on which Ravi was supposed to sit, and there are computers which are free, but Ravi can't use them because his user was created locally on John's PC, and this was a problem which they were facing a lot. So this is when that's what we are talking about. All users, if they can get their identity from a centralized server, and all users can log into any computer without the need of creating a local user account on them. Any changes to the user account can be made centrally, like a password reset or disabling the account when a user leaves the company. You can just go ahead and simply disable his account centrally from one place, so that the access to every PC and file server is revoked in a single go. This is a great security feature, only if they can do that. The good thing is that there is a solution: introduction to a directory. Lucky for them, they weren't the only one who had these problems. Before them, the whole world had had it. Hence, the solution named directory services existed. There are different kind of directory services available, like Novell directory services, AWS directory services, and maybe others. However, I believe 99.9% people use Microsoft Active Directory, and which is the focus for this training as well. Define the term directory services. A directory services is a customizable information store that functions as a single point from which user can locate resources and services and distribute throughout the network. This customizable information store also gives administrator a single point of managing its objects and attributes. Okay, very heavy definition. Just remember that a directory services is a place where you store your user accounts and your groups, and all the computers access the user account information and authentication information from there. The most common and the robust identity solution used in all corporate environments today is Microsoft Active Directory. And let's begin with the definition. Active Directory is directory services developed by Microsoft for Windows domain network. It is included in most Windows Server operating system as a set of processes and services. Initially, Active Directory was only in charge of centralized domain management. The definition doesn't explain much, so I'll just try to expand on it. Active Directory is the Microsoft Directory service offering, which is most widely used and accepted by organization. It houses all the users and groups in it and provides centralized LDAP authentication to all domain joined and domain dependent resources. In plain English, all users and groups are created in Active Directory, and then all resources including computers, file servers, Citrix servers, IIS server, Exchange servers, network resources like firewalls, other machines equipment which require user authentication use AD or LDAP protocol to authenticate and authorize them. So basically all users exist in AD, and all the resources, whether it is a PC or it's a server, they look towards the Active Directory to tell them whether to allow a user in or not. That's it for this module, and here are the action items for this module. I would suggest that you go to your local PC, create a couple of user accounts on your PC and try to log in with them like I showed you. Check out the user profile folder on your PC, look through the various subfolders which are inside the user profile folder. I showed you there was a desktop folder, the app data folder. Try to read more about user profile. It is a very interesting topic and it helps you troubleshoot a lot of issues. So understand what is the user profile, understand how the users are created, and we are going to learn more and more about Active Directories in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for being with me, and I will talk to you soon.